Hello, everyone. This is Eduardo Rocha from San Antonio, Texas, here in Yanaguana, um, the the land of the Payaya, the Huahuiteca Nation, the many other indigenous nations here that are repressed by the U.S. Excuse me. So this is just a Chicano message to everyone out here who may be interested in learning more about La Raza Unida Party and our work um, that we have going on, and also to understand, just a little bit about what we're about as an organization. Um, I think that by doing this will allow us to, be able to understand and learn, about the issues that we are facing, and guide us in the right direction. For those of us who may not be interested in joining La Raza Unida Party, maybe just kind of supporting that work, um, you know, we can work with that. We also encourage everyone to join an organization working for justice. It doesn't necessarily have to be our organization, but uh, a lot of folks out here are not involved in an organization, so we want folks to get that experience, right? To get that understanding of that process, and then we can take it from there, because we we know that under this system, this capitalist system, it's very difficult um, organizing folks under this system, because individualism is a tool that's used um, in this work. So everyone kind of wants to just have these ideas in their head and not have a not have any action or a vehicle to make that happen. So uh, we feel that this is a way of us to bring us together, so that we can build unity. And again, just encouraging folks to do that. So I hope I kind of went over a brief introduction here. I think that we can move forward and go over the 14-point platform. So I will just be reading that out loud to everyone, for everyone to hear. Excuse me, it's ready. Okay, so number one, domestic USA policy and colonialism. The domestic policy of the USA is the continuation of European colonialism and occupation. Therefore, La Raza Unida takes the following positions. Number one, consumerism impairs culture and the free exchange of ideas. Number two, La Familia and human rights are more important than property rights. Number three, the USA domestic policy works as intended to disrupt and exploit our labor, land, and sense of being. Number four, La Raza Unida supports our own institutions for our own people. Number two, USA foreign policy and imperialism. La Raza Unida takes these positions against the imperialism of the United States of America. Number one, La Raza Unida believes in the self-determination of all people. Number two, La Raza Unida believes in peaceful coexistence. Number three, indigenous peoples and developing nations must be self-sufficient and not exploited or manipulated. Number four, La Raza Unida believes in international worker solidarity, which imperialism prevents through competition between countries. Number five, La Raza Unida stands for social change. Imperialism creates dictatorships that repress dissent, social change, and self-determination. 3, environment and climate change. Immediate action must be taken against the destruction of the environment by turning to the land healing practices of indigenous cultures across the world. La Raza Unida maintains, number 1, the legacy of settler colonialism, poisoned the earth and its people. Number 2, we have the right to live and work on land that is not polluted. Number 3, the war industry must return native sacred places defiled by uranium mines and bombing ranges. Number 4, crimes against the earth, air, and water must be prosecuted. Okay. 4, sexism. Chicanas suffer not only colonial settler oppression, but misogyny from our own community. Therefore, La Raza Unida takes the following positions. Number 1, women have full control of their bodies and reproductive process. Number 2, 1 year maternity leave must be available to all parents. Number 3, La Raza Unida recognizes the leadership of women within indigenous liberation movements. Number 4, women must be paid equally to men, and the right to work is a universal right across the gender spectrum. This is number 5, homophobia and transphobia. La Raza includes all of us, and we struggle for self-determination as a whole. Therefore, we take the following positions. Number 1, La Raza Unida recognizes the leadership of LGBTQIA plus in our history, present, and future. Number 2, transphobic and homophobic attacks on Raza are attacks on all Raza. Number 3, La Raza Unida rejects gender binaries that have been imposed on indigenous peoples. Number 4, each person deserves complete control over their own bodies, sexuality, and sexual expression. Okay. Native nations. La Raza Unida supports indigenous sovereignty. We affirm land belongs to indigenous peoples. Number 2, we reject the colonial tactic of creating wedges between detribalized people and people with tribal affiliation. Number 3, centuries of trauma between tribal people and detribalized people must be healed. Number 4, place names, statues, and other symbols of racism and colonialism must be removed. Number 5, Chicanos and Chicanas are an indigenous people. Education. La Raza Unida maintains that Chicano studies, ethnic studies, indigenous studies is the true history of the United States of America. Number 1, education must be culturally relevant and directed by our people. Number 2, our languages, no matter their origin, are the methods of native expression and should be taught and not outlawed or dismissed. Number 3, school education, including learning materials, should be free and accessible to everyone and anyone. Labor. Labor, or La Raza Unida believes all workers should be treated with respect and human dignity and maintains, number 1, all work is dignified. Number 2, no worker should be dependent on a wage for their existence. Number 3, all workers should be able to participate in deciding how their work is produced. Number 4, workers must share equally in the wealth created by their labor. Number 5, everyone should benefit from each other's labor. Number 6, each person should work according to their ability. Food and water. Access to healthy food and clean water is a basic human right. Raza Unida takes a stand on this issue because, number 1, The Chicano community is constantly bombarded with unhealthy foods by monopoly corporations that benefit from our poor health. Number two, lack of access to healthy foods leads to disease and shortens our lifespan and quality of life. Number three, the exploitation and monopolization of water by corporations must end. Number four, La Raza Unida advocates the communal use of acequias, ejidos, and other natural resource sharing. Healthcare. Raza Unida believes all people should have access to quality healthcare because, number one, it is a basic human right to care for one's own health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Number two, Western medicine and mental health care excludes indigenous perspectives and practices. Number three, adequate health care should not be restricted by ability to pay. Prison abolition and political prisoners. La Raza Unida affirms mass incarceration is a tactic employed by the settler government against Raza and calls for the immediate abolition of prisons and the release of all political prisoners because, number one, people are able to peacekeep their own community. Number two, people with mental health conditions should not be criminalized and subjected to traumatic conditions. Number three, the school to prison pipeline sets our youth on a direct pathway to prison. Number four, people should not be incarcerated for participating in liberation struggles. USA occupation, international and domestic, military lease, La Migra, immigration. La Raza Unida recognizes the U.S. military and its police forces as the armed wing of the settler colonizer. We stand in solidarity with all liberation struggles. Number one, the USA armed forces are designed to keep our people terrorized, exploited, and controlled. Number two, the USA armed forces take advantage of the dire economic realities of our people with false promises. Number three, USA veterans experience trauma and betrayal. Raza Unida supports them in their healing. Their experience can be an asset to the true liberation of our people. Number four, technology used abroad by the USA military today will be used against Raza tomorrow. Number five, La Raza Unida supports the right of our own people to develop a force to serve, observe, and protect ourselves. La Frontera Falsa. La Raza Unida does not recognize the USA-Mexico border as legitimate. It was imposed by military invasion and held by occupational forces. Therefore, number one, no human being is illegal. Number two, La Raza Unida opposes any militarization of La Frontera Falsa. Number three, USA immigration policy is designed to enrich the elite through the suffering of Raza as a weapon against the Chicano people. Number four, the construction or expansion of any physical barrier at La Frontera Falsa must be opposed. Number five, we oppose the separation of families and the caging of children. Number six, our raza, whether Mexicano, Centroamericano, must be allowed to migrate on their own continent in search of a better life for themselves and their children. The continent. Simanawak, Turtle Island, Ishatliklan. Our struggle is a part of the much larger struggle of the entire continent. Therefore, number one, La Raza Unida is opposed to any economic, cultural, and military intervention by the USA into La Patria Grande, La Patria Grande, the Americas. Number two, the USA must end its embargo on Cuba, Venezuela, and any other embargo that aims at choking a nation. Number three, we recognize the right of every one of our sister nations, including Boricua, Métis, Mohawk, and all other First Nations to self-determination and liberation by any means necessary. So yeah, that is the 14-point platform of La Raza Unida Party. Please, if you have any questions, interested in learning more about the work going on here in San Antonio and Tejas, nationally, internationally, let us know. You can follow up in the link that I provide here in this video. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your afternoon, wherever you're at. Thank you very much.